everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and here are 3 important things to pay attention to for the upcoming trading week. Now, as you probably all know, March was a pretty darn good month for the markets. NASDAQ up almost 10%, the S&P was up over 3%, so things looking pretty good. What will April hold for us? Well, we don't know, but I can tell you there's going to be a lot of big announcements happening this week, so let's start there. Now, first and foremost, we usually start off with earnings. This week, there's like 36 companies reporting earnings. It's the lightest week of the year, although there's 2 that you might want to know. Constellation brands and ConAgra brands are going to come out with earnings this week, but we'll skip that stuff and move right to the meat and potatoes, the good stuff. Let's start things with central banks and rates. Yes, I know, we're going back to rates again because that is the most important talk track right now. Let's talk about what's going on with interest rates. Here's what's happening. Southern Hemisphere is really where all the action is going to be at this week. The Reserve Bank of Australia on Tuesday, just after midnight Eastern time, will be coming out with their rate announcement. And drum roll, please, could it be the Australians are actually anticipated to stop raising rates? So right now they're at 3.6%, and they are expected to stay the same at 3.6%. So maybe a little foreshadowing for what the U.S. has to do. Oh, but wait, there's their little neighbor to the east, Mr. New Zealand, reporting their announcement as well. You can see that they're expected to actually increase from 4.75 up to 5. And there's a pretty big discrepancy there between Australia and New Zealand, even though they're so close neighbors. New Zealand looking at jumping to 5% and Australia staying at 3.6. Now, New Zealand's announcement comes out Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So Tuesday will be your big day with regards to those announcements for Australia and New Zealand. Now, moving on, I will continue just going straight into the jobs report. There's a lot of information happening with jobs this week. And of course, if you watch the Jerome Powell presentations, unemployment numbers are always critical. So what's going to happen this week with regards to jobs? Well, let me tell you. There's 4 announcements to speak of. The first one is going to be the JOLTS job openings. That's going to be Tuesday at 10 a.m. And all of these times here are Eastern Standard Time. Next, you have the ADP non-farm employment change, probably the second most significant announcement for the week. That's going to be Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time. On Thursday, you have unemployment claims, and then finally the big daddy, the unemployment rate, coming out Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, why is the unemployment rate number 1 this week? Well, we saw the previous number was 3.4%, and they thought that we were going to actually stay right around the same. We jumped to 3.6%. People going, uh-oh. Is unemployment getting out of control at this moment? No, out of control would be a stretch because historically the average going back in the 1940s is about 5.7% unemployment. So we are still way lower than the historical norms. However, any shift in this unemployment number might start to steer the policy for the Fed, which at this point right now, for the May 3rd, right now, there's about a 50-50 probability that we're going to get a 25 basis point increase or stay the same with regards to the Fed funds futures. And again, the unemployment numbers, the inflation numbers, the GDP numbers are all what's driving the Fed's decision about to raise rates, lower, or stay the same. All right, let's move on to the last one. And this one, normally we don't really talk about too much because trading is not about being political. It's not about saying Democrats or Republicans or Libertarians this or pointing the finger of blame at any one particular person. However, there are some characters out there that are so, polarizing of the populace that they might create significant moves. And there is a very big event happening this week. As you all may know, Mr. Donald Trump, our former president, has been indicted. And this week will present himself to law enforcement officials in New York. Now, this itself will probably not be a major market mover because it's not really directly tied to the stock market. However, there's a lot of events which may happen. Since this is going to be downtown New York, a lot of people are expecting protests. You don't know who's going to show up there. It might be a chaotic scene. A lot of uncertainty around this event. Now, at this moment in time, the speculation is that Tuesday will be the day that he turns himself in. But we don't really know. What we can tell you is when that event happens, it will be a circus. It will be a media show. They'll be on every news channel, and that could create some volatility in the marketplace. So when you hear that he's going and it's on the news, probably want to err on the side of caution because there is no telling which way those markets will move to some little tiny event that happens or doesn't happen in New York next week. Now, again, that's expected to happen on Tuesday. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.